Hey, guess what, y'all? I was muted. Try that again. Hey, y'all. Hey, beautiful Brown Girl family. So excited to be here with you all tonight. Welcome to Brown Girl Boss. I see y'all getting in here, honey. Y'all been waiting on this one. Okay. So go ahead and start introducing yourselves in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from. Also, let me know if this is your very first time hanging out with Brown Girl Boss because I want to make sure that I celebrate you because I love our first timers. So as you're getting in, drop your name in the comments. Drop where you are watching from in the comments. And again, if this is your first time, drop first time in the comments so that I can acknowledge you. If you are always here hanging out with me on Brown Girl Boss, you are familiar with beautiful brown girls. You have been here, girl. You know I'm an OG. I was about to tell y'all, go ahead and drop OG in the comments so that I can acknowledge you as well. Okay. Now, y'all, I'm trying to keep my excitement in check. I don't even think y'all understand. Like, I have been fangirling over our guest for at least a year, honey. And when Sis said she was coming on, so let me try to get it together because I don't want to be too excited, but it's a lot to be excited for. So, what I need y'all to do is go ahead and tag some of your friends and share the broadcast right now. Tell them get themselves up in this place. Okay, we are having a real candid conversation tonight, y'all, and we need y'all's voices. Okay, so go ahead and tag your people, tell them to get in here. While you do that, I'm going to do a couple shout outs and then I'm going to officially get us started for the show. Oh, you know what else, y'all? I need to share myself. So hold on. Let me do that right quick, okay? Because this is too important for the people to not be in here. Okay. So give me 1 second, y'all. I can't do two things at one time. So I got to get my life together. Okay, here we go. We're live. All right. So I just shared on my page. I'm going to ask that you do the same. All right. So let me do some shout outs. So we got Kimberly in here, honey. She is an OG hanging out with us all the time. Deborah is watching over on YouTube. Welcome, Deborah from Durham, first timer. Welcome. Excited to have you. We also have Margie from Maryland. We have Anita, who is here from Buffalo, first timer as well. Hey, Stanza, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. So excited to have you. We have Remy, who is here, first timer from Florida. We have Stephanie is a first timer. We have Kaylin is here from VA, and also a first timer. So new here. Raven is here, first time from North Carolina. Charmel is here from Cali. Yeah, I'm I get so excited when I have all these first timers hanging out with me. Brittany is here, first timer from North Carolina. We also have first timer Carrie Ann. Carrie is here from South Jersey. Donna is here from Stockton, first timer. We have Janelle checking in from Philly, first timer. Okay, Philly put out an email. So we also have Felicia here from Philly, and Marcy is here from San Francisco in California, honey. Yes. All right, so let me tell y'all how this works, okay? Basically, it's important to me that y'all connect, right? So here at Beautiful Brown Girls, we let me do my official thing, y'all. Let me back up. I'm getting too excited. Hold on. Let me back up. Okay, let me start over. Good evening, y'all. Welcome to BBG TV Brown Girl Boss. This is our virtual platform that allows us to connect with other like-minded women that are on a mission to live their very best lives. We come to you weekly with programming that will challenge and inspire you and get the conversation going to connect with other beautiful brown girls. My name is Kimberland, and I am coming to you all from Medellin, Colombia. And I am super excited for this show tonight. Did I say that already? I'm going to say it again. I am so excited for this show tonight. We have a phenomenal guest with us, and it is just going to be, it's going to be a real good time. Okay. So if you have not done so already, go ahead and make sure that you share the broadcast and tag some of your friends. Tell them to get in here. Tell them that it's time to get this party popping because tonight we got Coco the Conversational Freak. Okay, Coco is here, y'all. Is about to be on. But before we get into that, I do want to make sure that I share a little bit about Beautiful Brown Girls because we have so many first timers that are hanging out with us. So, Beautiful Brown Girls, our mission here is all about sisterhood, support, and self care. We are about creating authentic friendships, swapping stories, experiences, ideas, making sure that we do everything with love in a way that allows us to thrive as beautiful brown girls, both locally and globally. So we always want to make sure that you are connecting with people, right? So I saw some connections happening there in the comments. Somebody's like, hey, I live in Orlando. Where are you at? Right? That's what we're all about. So the reason that I ask you to drop your information in the comments where you're watching in, where you're checking in from, is because you just might meet your next best friend right here in the comments, okay? Because that's how we do over here. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and make sure that you check in and let us know where you are watching from so that you are able to let the people know what's going on. So having said that, I also want to make sure that while you are here, that you let me know if you are loving the content. If you are vibing with what we're talking about, make sure that you give me some emoji reactions. I already asked you to share the broadcast. And also, if you're feeling generous, go ahead and drop some stars, okay? Because we totally appreciate that. That helps us keep the lights on here at Beautiful Brown Girls. So if you are feeling generous, go ahead and do that as well. All right. So having said that, I want to get us started because I don't want to waste any time. I see y'all still checking in. Y'all keep on checking in there in the comments. Let the people know where you are. Okay. And I'm going to share with you about our guest. All right. So I already told you tonight we have Coco, the conversational freak, with us. Coco is a sex confidence coach and feminine wellness advocate who helps women build sex and self confidence in the bedroom. After being sexually assaulted at the age of 15, Coco dealt with her trauma behind closed doors, which crippled her confidence in sex, self, and relationships. By healing and unlearning negative mindsets and patterns, she now uses her past pains to help women who are on the journey to becoming the best sexually confident version of themselves. It is her passion to help women reclaim their sexuality and sensuality to become the lover they deserve to be for themselves. So tonight, y'all, I want you to make sure that you drop your questions in the comments that you have for Coco. Okay, while we're here, we just gonna unpack some things and just have a little chat. Okay, because there's some stuff that we just need to unpack and talk about. So we are going to let this conversation unfold, and you have the ability to chime in the comments as we are doing that. So without further ado, let me go ahead on and get Coco in here, y'all. Y'all welcome her to the Beautiful Brown Girl family, Brown Girl Boss. Hey there, beautiful. Uh-oh, you muted, boo. You muted. You muted. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh my God, that was me. That was me. That was me. That was me.
It's good. It's good. What you was saying.
I was really about to come up in here talking about blah, 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 but I'm just like, all right, girl, relax. Because I'm excited to be here too. So I'll just like, hey, throw my PC music.
But I got something for you, Coco. You want it? Here it is. Because you deserve. Because you deserve. Because you deserve. Because that's how I feel about you being here. So the energy
Thank
is
you.
ready for you.
Set the tone. How are
Yes,
you?
girl. The ladies are here, girl. They are
Yes.
checking in the comments. They are too excited to be here. Look, they say, "Bing, bing, bing." Yes, we gotta set the tone. All right. So listen, I know this hour about to fly by like lightning. So let me get focused. Let me get focused, okay? Because I'm still fangirling, but let me. Hey, girl. Hey, no.
Hey, girl. How you doing?
So listen, I would like for you to start us off at the beginning, right? I shared a little snippet, just a little snippet, in your intro, but the biggest question that many people have had as we've been preparing for this show is how did you even get into this field? What is this origin story? Honey, I need you to tell the people, okay? And I just need you to just talk the things. wherever it goes, I need you to
Mhm.
start. So kick us off with how you even got started in this.
So everybody grab your teacups.
Girl.
Okay, so so I was not always like this, guys, at all. At all. Grew up Haitian, all my Caribbeans. It doesn't matter if you're Jamaican, it doesn't matter if you grew up African. If you're Caribbean or African, you know what I'm talking about. So, a very strict household, super religious, all of that. So, I was very naive when it came to sex, always. So, I always had like a very bold personality. But what people didn't know is when it came to like sexual conversations or jokes or anything like that, I would just be like, oh, okay. And I would deflect from it. But that's
Yeah.
because at such a young age, like I didn't have a good relationship with my father. It was almost like for him, understanding now as an adult, like our parents go through their own trauma and they don't even understand that they have it.
Right.
As an adult, that's when I learned, like, hey, we had a conversation. He was like, if I were to raise you again, I would never raise you the way that I did. And he apologized. So we made progress, y'all. So, but back then, I didn't hear I love you from my dad till I was 16 because in our culture, if he's working, providing, making sure we have, that was, I
That's the
kind of told you I
job.
love you with my actions type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was so much to the point where like even like physical affection wasn't a thing for me. I didn't know that I didn't know how to hug people until I started dating
Mm.
my ex when I was 20. And I used to like hug his mom and she stopped me and she's just like, why do you hug like that? I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, let me show you how to give a proper hug. She's like, because in this family,
Mm.
we hug. Like we're
Right.
grace and like I used to see them hug all the time. I'm like, oh, y'all different. So I literally had to learn affection from his family,
Mm.
not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 15, again, so let's get to the sexually assaulted part. So I wasn't aware. Again, me and my dad didn't have a good relationship. So I was kind of looking for love and boys and men, just that attention
Right.
that you get from your first love, which should be your father. So my dad used to go to work from 6 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, and then go to work from 4 to 7. So that
Mm.
4 to 7, nobody was home. So I'm just like, oh,
Mm.
that's my me time. I can hang out with my friend. We all lived in the same area. So she had invited her friend on a walk. She had a boyfriend at the time. She was older than me. And me and him were walking, and he was just like, oh, I'm a nympho.
Mm.
And I didn't know what that meant.
I was about to say you had no idea what that meant.
I had no idea what that meant. And my I was about to say my dumb ass, but I just didn't know at the time. My
Yeah.
my ass was just like, oh, I'm an info too. Like, would you trying to be cool and cute, whatever. So one, I was misleading because I wasn't aware of what the term was.
What it even meant.
So
Yeah.
again, very naive. I was 15, he was 18. So he was just like, oh, let's
Mm.
go back to your house. And I'm like, oh, nobody's at my house, blah, blah, blah. So long story short, I was like, okay, kissing, cool. But
Mm-hmm.
then what happened is he wanted to have sex. And I was just like, oh, no, don't do that. He's like, I thought you said you were an info. I was just like, whatever,
Mm.
whatever. So what ended up happening, I was just like, no, I'm a virgin. I don't partake in those adult like activities.
Right.
So what he ended up doing was actually putting his hand up my vagina to break my hymen. And then he looked at me and was just like, well, I guess you're not a virgin anymore, so you can have
Oh,
sex. When
wow.
I tell you, I'm getting chills thinking about it. When I tell you that broke me, because the only things going through my head was one, I can't tell anybody because I was the one who snuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I wasn't supposed to have anybody at the house. So it's just like whether I told anybody or not, it didn't matter. And the way I was raised, it was just like I never had a voice, especially when it came to my dad. I remember this one instance, it was me, my brother, and my brother's friend, which was a family friend, and we're all in the room and we're
Mm.
all telling jokes and we're laughing. I laughed too loud. So my dad came in the room. He didn't ask me anything, but I got beat because I was laughing too loud as a girl.
Mm.
So, and then I remember another instance where I went to church with the church and he didn't know where I was. And then I remember in the middle of Bible study, there had to be like 20 kids there. And then he stopped and he saw me and was just like, when we get home, I'm gonna handle you. in front of everybody. He didn't ask me any questions. So I'm so used to like repercussions without explaining my side or saying, hey, this is what's going on. So to me, automatically in that moment, it didn't matter how it happened. It was my fault.
Yeah.
So I carried that. Very heavy, even into college, like being pulled into a bathroom and like saying no and still not having a voice and didn't have a choice as to what happened. So I carried that a lot through my adulthood and all of that. So
Yeah. So I want to pause there for a second because I got chills too as you are sharing. And it's so interesting of how so many of us have had similar experiences as far as when you mentioned not having a voice and not being able to express what we're actually feeling and getting in trouble for having feelings or expressing whatever we might be expressing. It's like as you're talking, I'm like, are we cousins for real? Because that's what it was like in my home. And I talk about that often. Like, I didn't get to have feelings. I didn't get to have bad days. I didn't have anybody to go to. For instance, if something like that happened, there's nowhere to turn because I'm gonna be in trouble regardless, right? So how did you process that? How did you work your way out of that traumatic experience?
so for a long time, it wasn't working anything out. It's just kind of just put in the back of your mind and keep it pushing, because I feel like that's how I survived, was
Mm-hmm.
just put in the back of your mind, keep it pushing, was your fault, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the person I got to this was my first serious relationship. It lasted 6.5 years. He was very similar to my dad in terms of he was a protector, he was a leader in
Mm-hmm.
those ways, but also when it came to my emotions, it was very up and down. Like if I caught him on a bad day and I was expressing myself, it was just like, oh, it's my fault that we're in an argument, or it's my fault this.
Yeah.
So again, for another 6.5 years with someone who's not my dad. So then his actions almost validated my childhood for me. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it is me.
Yeah,
So
this is what it really looks like.
yeah, because just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, why would you wouldn't have a reason to make me feel this way. You're not my dad. So it's just like, but it was almost like manipulative, where it's just like he would make me always think that we're about to break up, but then he would talk so well about me to other people. So then it was just like I was always like anxious, because I'm just like,
On
oh, let
edge.
me make sure, because this
Yep.
is the first guy that I've been in a relationship with and he loves me and all this stuff, because he was just like my dad. Like if we
Yeah.
could be arguing, if I called him, he would be there though. Where I'm just like, okay,
Mm.
but if I call him, you're there, you're not a no, he would ignore me sometimes if I was acting like, please talk to me. And I look back now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
girl, you always been a shit. What were you doing? But so that led to that. And then I don't know what prompted me to do this, but at 26, I was like, you know what? Let me take a solo trip to Mexico. Let me see what it's like to be on my own and be able to just make my own decisions based off of my feelings and my emotions. If y'all knew how sprung I was off of this man, this was my husband. This was the man I was going to have children with. This was the only man I ever introduced to my family. My parents
Mm.
loved him. I knew his entire family. Like, it was like, this was it.
Yeah.
Yes. So went to Mexico, baby. I was like, God, bitch, you kind of popping. You kind of popping. So everybody was just making me feel so welcomed. And I had this experience with a man. I have never cheated in a relationship ever. So I had this guy. I remember we went to like, let me back up. So it was a retreat, guys. So it was a solo retreat. So it was a whole bunch of Black women. So I was in my element.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this group of guys that was just there on a trip, but there was one in particular who was just on my ass. Like he was just
Mm-hmm.
on it. And I was just like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. But he was so persistent, so kind. He would overhear things that I ordered. I remember I was at a bar and I was trying to order a drink and it was taking so long, I left.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up walking up to me with the drink that I had ordered. He's like, I overheard this what you were ordering and it was taking a while. And then he left, didn't want anything. And I was
Mm.
just like,
That's different.
okay. But the first time he did that, I rejected him. I took the drink he got me and I gave it to somebody else in front of him as like I'm not interested. I'm in a relationship. But he was so kind. And like, if I changed my hair, he would notice and he's just like, oh, your hair is different today. Like, it looks really nice. He was just so good to me. And I was just like, I have never experienced this before. So long story short, I did fuck that man. Okay, if y'all were wondering, I knew that man was. Okay?
I did it, y'all.
I did it. So, but after that, I knew in my mind, for me, I had disconnected. So it wasn't that I had sex with this person and like now I'm sprung, like I went from one guy to the other to stick to him because I know I didn't want to be with your ass either. But I was just like, hold on, this is how I should feel. And I don't. So I come back from this trip. My boyfriend picks me up from the airport. And I was just like, dang, everybody was just making me feel like I was the shit. And he was just like, of course they were. They don't know you. And I was just like, nigga, you sound a little salty. Okay.
Wow.
So 2 days later, the day after, 2 days later was his mom's birthday. And my best friend had come. We're away from the house and we're talking. I'm just like, girl, I gotta tell you something because this was a great trip, but some shit happened. So then he walks up and he's just like, yeah, next time she goes out of the country, maybe you should go with her. Because she came back so enlightened, as if he was so mad that I wasn't like that meek. Okay, no, I'll stay with you. I even stayed for the party. I was just like, I'm gonna go out, bye. So he was just like, what? Almost
what
like,
does he do with that? Yeah.
Yes. So the next day, he bought me food. I remember I had to go to work. He bought me food. I'm sitting there eating. I was just like, this just don't even feel right. Food was smacking though. So I was just like, you know what? I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. And he was just like, what? I was just like, yeah, then all of a sudden, mind you, this man never wanted to talk about marriage, never wanted to talk about kids, never wanted to talk about any of it. As soon as I said, yeah, I'm good, he was like, oh, you're the person I saw as my wife. I was just like, where the
now? Right now you say that, but all of this time I've been sitting here trying to get you to pay attention to me and to love me and all of this, and now all of a sudden you want to get married. Oh, okay.
While he's saying all this, I'm like packing my stuff, all my stuff out of his house. I was just like, okay, yeah, let's take a few weeks. Mind you, I went to go fuck that man again in Mexico because he lived in Baltimore. So I was just like, let's meet up in New Jersey. And I went to go fuck that man, came back.
She's like, I did. And I did it
again.
Yeah,
it's definitely over.
Yes. So, okay. So to Margie's comment here, she said he was uncomfortable with this new power that you were gaining. And I'm really interested in what switch do you think flipped in your mind that caused you to divorce yourself from the toxicity that you were experiencing, that kind of put you on this trajectory to understanding that you deserved more?
So what ends up happening with, I feel like a lot of us, is we're in these patterns and we go and we go and we go and we go. That was the first time ever in my life I stopped and was alone and was able to see myself. I've always seen myself through the eyes of other people because that's all I knew. When you don't know, you don't know. You can't learn what you don't know. So how am I supposed to learn me if I'm constantly looking at me through what you see, not what I see? So my opinions about myself was based off of him, based off of my dad, based off of my mom. And that was the first time I'm like, you know what? For 5 days, I'm going to sit in Mexico and I'm going to sit by myself. And I didn't expect to fuck. So
expect that,
we don't allow ourselves to have that moment.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? But I was just sharing with you before we came on about me living in Colombia. And the reason that I decided to leave is because the first time I did a solo trip here to Medellin, it was the first time that I ever just got to be. And I remember just being like, I don't have to be something for anybody. Like, I can just sit here, and if I decide to spend this time just looking out the window, I can do that. If I decide to take a stroll, I can do that. If I decide to go on an excursion or not, like, it was up to me. And it was the first time that I ever had the experience of saying, I'm going to do what brings me joy. And I'm going to do what I need to do to show up for myself. And it sounds like that is exactly what happened for you when you went to Mexico.
Girl, I had a good whole ass time that whole summer. And when I tell you, I'm so glad it was before COVID because I needed that. And when I say a good whole ass
Yeah.
time, let me be very clear with what I mean. I was just living my life. I wasn't necessarily sleep. It wasn't sleeping around. For me, the definition of a whole phase is openly dating with no intentions on being with that person, but more so for discovering yourself. And when we're dating, for me, there's two intentions. So if I'm dating you to either be with you or see you as a future, or I'm dating you because I feel like there's things about you that I can learn about myself and you would make
Mm-hmm.
a great temporary partner. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you I was attracting men that I used to just dream about, like, I want to be flown out and not have to worry about anything and be taken care of and no strings attached. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was attracting.
Wow. That really says something though, Coco. Like I remember there was a brown girl boss actually that we did, and we had a relationship coach on, and she was saying that when we are ready, like when we get to the space of understanding who we are and operating in our confidence,
Hmm.
that the people show up.
They do.
They because they see it. And she said before that point, it's like we have a close sign on our forehead, like
Hmm.
not accepting any connections right now,
Yes.
right? And then when we get this like super confident stance and we really meet ourselves
Hmm.
and we decide to operate in the fullness of who we are, that changes to open.
Yes.
Right. And now all of a sudden you're just attracting all of these connections that otherwise you would have never had the opportunity to do because your spirit wasn't even ready to receive it.
Yeah. Like those are,
Hmm.
and I was dealing with men who, one guy was like a politician, like would fly me out all the time. And the thing is, when I would tell like little bits and pieces of stories, and people would like, well, how do you have these men so whipped? And it's just like, sometimes does the sex help? Yes, because I know what the fuck I'm doing. But a lot of it is energy. Like I remember this one guy who flew me out. At first, he was, I wouldn't say he's aggressive, but he was very like, no, you can't go that, because he was working at a club and he was like, no, you can't go that way. And he was just like, and I just looked up at him, I'm just like, hey. And again, it's that energy. Are you able to bring a man down? Or he's just like, okay, you got me. Where I was just like, hey, I was not trying to cross the line. I was just trying to find out where the bathroom is. Do you mind helping me? And it's just like
Hmm.
asking for that help. Well, nigga, I wasn't trying to use that way. There's a
Right, right,
whole
right,
different way to
right.
do it. Where it's just like
Hmm.
he escorted me to the bathroom because he's just like,
Mm.
oh, bitch, I want to be next to you. Because of the
Yeah.
way my response was. And that wasn't me before.
Mm.
I was very aggressive. And I still, even till today, which I'm working on, I still have the way I respond sometimes is in a defense. It sounds very defensive, but that comes from me not being able to defend myself. So now that I have it, it's almost like I have to learn how to balance it.
Yeah, yeah. So we got a couple questions in the comments. So Charmel wanted to know, as far as your ex, when you broke up with him, did he start putting you down?
No, 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 no. So how he was, let me say this. We had toxic ways in the relationship. He wasn't bad to me all the time. I think he wasn't raised with a dad as well. So I think he always operated in a hyper masculine
Mm,
in order to take care of everything. And
mhm,
that's how my dad was, hyper masculine to take care of everything. My dad didn't really start showing emotions till probably like 5 years ago. So
mhm,
it was that with him. And I have to understand where he was at that time. Now, is
mhm,
he the same person? I don't know. And I don't want to say he is. But when we
mhm,
broke up, he was shocked, he was hurt, but he never put me down. I remember 3 to 4 weeks later, he's like, hey, can we talk? When we spoke, he was just like, I really want to say thank you because and he started crying and he's just like,
mhm,
you were there, you supported me in some of the most pivotal moments of my life. And I could never repay you for that. And he was just very thankful and grateful. And I was
mhm,
just like, you're welcome. And it's crazy because even in that moment, as he's crying, I went to go put my hand like on his shoulder to like comfort him. He's just like, no, 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 don't touch me.
Mm.
And that's when I had to in that moment, I'm just like, you still the same nigga. But
Mhm.
now that I look back on it, I'm just like, you just don't know how to process sensitive emotions.
Mhm.
Everything has to be hyper masculine. Everything, he didn't know how to be in touch with his feminine side.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he didn't really know.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Another comment slash question. So this is from Fatmata. She said, "Love the confidence and openness. How have you tapped into discerning between the positive versus negative connections?"
So I always say this. I always have a set of rules and boundaries that I have for myself that I don't disclose to those people. Because here's the
Mm.
thing, when people know what the standard is for you, they will play pretend.
Mhm.
They will
Mhm.
play pretend, they'll try to meet it just to have that connection or just to fuck you, honestly.
Right.
And
Right.
then just be who they really are. So I have a set of like certain things that I look for when it comes to somebody's character. How you speak about women from your past, how you speak about your mother, how you speak about you, how you view yourself. Because if you think you godly and nobody could touch you, baby, I could tell you, I'm gonna humble you real quick, and we don't even need to go there. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of different things that I look at, and then I'm just like, no. So I'll give you a perfect example. The first time I broke up with my last ex, which we are very great friends, but the first time we broke up, I was dating, there was two men. One man was a talker. When I tell you, baby, that nigga could have wrote for Zane books. There are things he said, like my vagina just was coming. Like I never meet this man in real life. So he was a great talker. Sexually, the chemistry was there, but there were certain things where it's just like, okay, oh yeah, whenever you're in town, let's meet up. To me, that doesn't meet my standard, because if you want me in town, you need to tell me, hey,
Mhm.
what are you doing this date? Okay,
Mhm.
the other guy was like, are you free this day? I made
Mhm.
reservations at this time, then we're doing this. What do you like?
Mhm.
So the way they approached me, chemistry wise, there was nothing wrong here, but there was a
Mhm.
standard that he upheld that I never said, that
Mhm.
led me to that. We never had sex, nothing. Brought me gifts the first date, took me for a massage the second date. Like, you have to be able to have your rules and stick to them.
Yeah, I love that you boundaries is something that we talk about a lot here, and making sure that we establish those boundaries. So I really appreciate hearing you talk about there are standards, right? You're
Mhm.
not out here just all willy-nilly,
Yeah,
right? There are standards that are in place for who you are going to allow to access your
hmm
greatness and your energy. And even keeping that, because to your point, like a lot of times people guys will ask, or just people will ask, well, what are you looking for, or blah blah blah, right? And it's like we give them the blueprint
hmm
to what this looks like,
yeah,
and then 90 days, 120 days, 180 days down the
yeah,
line, now it's like, oh, you weren't really that person. You were showing up because you thought that's what I wanted, but that's not who you are. So I
hmm
appreciate you saying that you knew what you were going to accept, and you know what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept, and then holding yourself and them accountable to those standards.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I want to talk about confidence for a moment,
Mhm.
because clearly you exude this, right? You like, because put some respect on my name. Okay. So, how did you get to this place, or what process maybe did you use to getting to this place of walking in your fullness and your confidence as a woman, as a person? How did you get there after having dealt with so much trauma and so much toxicity on the way?
So I feel like it was like those small pieces of like freedom in terms of like being freely me. I again, it all stems from that trip, but I already knew what toxic looked like. I knew what it felt like, and it's just like, well, I don't know what the other side feels like. And although
Mm,
yes, it might be a scary process and all the stuff, but I'm like, what if I was just not to actually give a fuck? What does that
mhm,
look like?
mhm,
Because there's
mhm,
two things. There's two roads you can go down. You can choose not to be confident. Well, You can choose not to work on your confidence and hear the voices and please people, but when you go home, you're not satisfied with yourself, which you will be miserable anyway, live with anxiety and all these things. Or you can live the road where you're authentic and you're happy with yourself and you're going to piss people off along the way, but just being okay with yourself. So I think there has to be a switch from, am I okay with other people being pleased at the expense of me? Or am I okay with just pleasing myself and attracting exactly what I need? Because when you're not yourself, you're going to attract all the things that are going to bring you more stress and anxiety because you are not authentic to you.
Right. Wow. That was a word. Um because there's so much there to this idea of how do I show up for me?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I prioritize myself? Because as women, specifically as Black women,
Mm-hmm.
we are taught to be servants
Yeah.
to others, right? Whether that be to our family, whether that be to our children, whether that be to our friends, to our partners, we are taught that we don't get to experience things
Mm-hmm.
that bring us joy. We don't get to experience pleasure. We don't get to put ourselves first. That's selfish. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the reasons I think that this concept of self care, which is also something that we talk about a lot here, has like had this huge boom, this blow up, is because tired. We tired of showing up for everybody else and not showing up for us. We tired.
Here's the problem, though. I love the self care, do your facials and your yoni steams or whatever. But the thing is, I really wish people would also show the ugly side of self care because there is
Thanks.
an ugly side of
Yes,
self
it
care.
is. Talk
Because the
about it.
thing is, there's times for me, I'm in the season of my life right now. There's times where you have to isolate yourself and be alone. And that is scary. It's hard. It gets so fucking lonely. I
Yes.
remember the first day I moved to Atlanta, like the first night I fucking broke down and cried. I'm like, yo, I'm legitimately by myself. I'm alone. I don't have anybody here. I have friends here, but like I don't have anybody.
I understand.
And I had to realize like in those moments, yes, am I crying? But I understand I have to go through this to be exactly where I want to be. To,
Yeah.
I left my relationship because I'm just like, this is no longer serving me. And I'm not scared to leave any situation that is no longer serving me. Now, I may do it a little strategically, but I'm
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
going to stay somewhere where I'm unhappy, where I feel like this is not serving me anymore. And I wish we would promote that part a lot because that's where the true work is. I can sit here and
Yeah.
do visuals all day, but if I
Yeah.
can't sit by myself, be lonely, and still be happy with myself, so that shit don't matter.
Yeah, facts. It's so interesting. I recently just wrote a blog post about this because I experienced the same thing. I live in Colombia. I don't have nobody here, right? It's just me. But I know that I came here with purpose, and I know
Mhm.
that I came here to experience some type of healing that I wasn't going to be able to experience wherever else I was, right?
Yeah.
And to your point of being able to sit in that and allow that season,
Mhm.
understanding that it won't always be that way. Like this is a season, this
Yeah.
is just a moment for however long that moment lasts. But that junk hard, bruh. Like I be in here like,
I be needing some dick. Like,
bruh, like for real, is it like
where you at?
somebody like what is going on, right? So the realness of that,
Mhm.
and talking about it, like that's the thing, is we usually go through that part by ourselves,
Yeah.
right? So we don't share that part with anybody else, and then we emerge on the other side. It's like, oh, everything is wonderful, and it's like,
Yeah,
but
no.
your girl been off the radar for 6 months, trying to get
Crying.
myself together, crying, trying to just hang on.
Mhm.
Okay. And I done reemerged and things are great, but we're not letting people in on that process. So then we think that we're the only ones going through it, and
Yeah,
we're
and then
not.
people tend to make it seem like, oh, if it makes you cry or brings up bad emotions, it's not good for you. No, suppressing those emotions because the thing is, Those emotions are there. They exist. So if you're
Yes.
not letting them out, what are they doing? They're just building up inside you. So you have to let them out. Yes, they don't feel good to you. Shit, working out don't feel good to me. But the thing is, I know, okay, my body needs this. This is good for me. I have to move. I
Yes.
have to do these things.
Yes.
So all things
Yes.
that are good for you don't feel good.
Period. Period.
That's a quote right there.
Period.
You have to quote me on that.
Yeah. Literally, because you be firing them off, okay? So I'm here for it. Melissa said, avoiding the ugly truth kept me stuck in relationships. Strategy is key when we are afraid to step. I thought I was the only one with a whole exit strategy.
Girl, no, because the thing is, you can't, there are some, I hate when I see podcasts and they generalize things. Every situation is different. So for me, the situation I was in, there was children involved. Children who call, look at me like a mom. So I couldn't
Mhm.
just be like, fuck you and your kids. Like
Right,
I'm not that
right,
type of person.
right.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
it wasn't anything that happened where it's just like I'm in danger or anything. It was just, okay, we have to do this strategically because there are other people involved. So it's okay to be sensitive towards those things, but we're gonna reach that end goal because this is still about me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Charmel has another question. I want to broaden it a little bit. She said, how would you recommend teaching your daughter to have the healthy confidence? I'm going to say there are many of us as grown women that don't have the healthy confidence. So how would you say that we should go about that process of learning how to love ourselves?
One, I will say this, making sure, and this is something I experienced. So, my bonus daughter is 14. I had her since she was 12. So, there was a lot of things that she went through that I had gone through. She just went through it earlier than me. Y'all can decipher that as you see fit. Um, Her mother's off the chain. Like in she's not in this
Mm-hmm.
world at all.
Mm-hmm.
But those are due to like mental conditions that she had. So one thing I will say, and I think this speaks to moms, making sure your children, I don't care if you have a daughter or son, make sure they are comfortable talking to you. Build that trust, because if they feel like they cannot trust you, they will go through things in this world by themselves, and by the time they try to resolve it, there's no backpedaling that damage. So let me say that first. Second, understand how your daughter views the world and views herself, and what that looks like, because the thing is, we parents are that buffer. We
Mm-hmm.
have the ability, we're with our children, but also our children are in school. There are certain things being said to them that you don't know about. So always having those open conversations, like, hey, how was school, what's going on, like, what's your friend, what you and your friends, like, my bonus daughter tells me everything. And because of that, when she did, now she's going through puberty and she's like, I'm having all these, I don't know what these feelings are. And I was just like, baby girl, we
Mm-hmm.
have to sit down and talk. I'm like, those are called sexual feelings.
Right.
This. I brought out a whole vagina. I'm like, this is a vagina. We're not saying
Yes.
cookie. We're not saying dunk
Yep.
or whatever the fuck. Like, we're not saying all that.
Yes.
You're going to know what your body is and your body part. I explained the clitoris to her. I explained everything. And she's just sitting there like mortified. But as I kept doing that and I kept pushing, where it's just like, she doesn't like it in the moment, but because I'm so honest with her, she knows if I ask her, she's going to tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now she's very open. Like, I read her like a 17 magazine article where it's just like different girls her age talking about masturbation. I'm teaching her like, this is what this is. The reason for it is you need to know your body, and sex is not a bad thing, but you have to be responsible, and you are not ready for no sex, girl. So I don't want to hear nothing about it. So you know what I'm saying? Like, telling her the
Mm-hmm.
consequences, like, this is what
Mm-hmm.
happens. Like, you'll have a baby, and the
Mm-hmm.
connection, you want to be with someone you trust. So we have
Mm-hmm.
a very open relationship, but it came from trust. It came from
Yeah.
open conversations. And now, she used to hate her skin. She used to hate her hair because her mom would tell her hair's difficult to deal with. She was the
Mm-hmm.
darkest one of the darkest ones in her family, and all this. And I just kept building. I knew what her triggers were and understanding how
Yeah.
she viewed herself. I'm like, girl, let me happen. And she's beautiful. And we tell her all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And now, girl, don't let her do her little edges, because she'd be like, you know? So Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love that. My background is as an educator,
Mm-hmm.
and I mentored girls for a long time, middle school girls, so about that same age.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always so shocking to me the types of misconceptions that they had,
Yeah.
or the way like they didn't know the names of their body parts.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would even have one time I had girls come to me and they were like, "Miss, if I get pregnant, can't I just drink bleach and get rid of the baby?" And it's like, yeah, you could get rid of the baby and you
And you
too,
gonna get rid of
boo,
yourself
because
too.
you gonna get rid of the whole everything. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Oh
so
no.
the level of handicapping that we wind up doing
Yeah.
when we are not honest with our children and when we don't build that trust. Then what happens is we become adults
Mm-hmm.
who don't know what we like and who don't know how to have those conversations and who don't know how to advocate for ourselves and speak up for ourselves because, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, we didn't have a voice and we
Yeah.
don't know what to do with that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to shift a little bit and talk about what some of the things are that we can do to show up as the most confident versions of ourselves in the bedroom, right? So, one of the things that you just mentioned a moment ago, masturbation. You said it has a point, right? Well,
Yeah.
those of us who grew up in church, we learned don't do that because
It's a
it's going
sin.
you're going to hell and all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you even unlearn that, Coco? And what is your stance now?
You really want to know? I'm gonna tell you even if you don't. So, so how that happened? Honestly, how old was I? I was 18 years old dating a 33-year-old. I've always been
Mm,
attracted to older men. Again, daddy issues, but no, I just like older men because I feel like you just deal with just different things. Like they just know
it's
so much
different,
more.
yeah.
I'm a nerd. I love to learn, so I feel like from older men I can learn a lot.
Yeah.
So he actually taught me what masturbation really was, how to do it.
Mm.
Like he wasn't showing me, but he was like talking about it. And it's just like, this, that, and the third. And I did it for the first time at 18. And I felt so gross. I was like, the fuck did I just do? But it felt
Yeah.
good though. So then
Mhm.
I would just do it as a way of like really just learning like my own parts. And my stance on it now is go for it. I feel like it's a great way to learn your body, how you come, what you prefer, what your spots are, all these things. Um, like I showed my bonus daughter what a vibrator was, the different types and things like that. Because here's the thing, it's either I'm going to show her or her friends in school because they're already vaping. They're sneaking out the house.
Yep.
They're not going to be
Yep.
talking about sex. So if I'm not showing you what the little boy next door is going to show you how to use a vibrator, he ain't going to do it like,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
So I'm very big on educating yourself and knowing your body first because that's going to help you show up.
Mhm. 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 I know something else that you talk about a lot on your page is the physical aspect of like stretching, for instance.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about that? Because I don't know that we all make the connection of there are actual physical things that I can do
Hmm.
to increase my confidence and how I show up and what that looks like in my skills and all of that.
Hmm.
So what does that look like in your world?
So a lot of women will talk about, they're stiff or they had an injury or things like that, and it really limits what they're able to do. But the thing is, that limitation is really just you.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, if someone told you, okay, yeah, you had a car accident, but if you stretch, blah, 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 you can do X, Y, Z. It's the same thing with sex. It's just how we choose to value it. So
Mm.
when you're stretching, point number one, I'm always big into the hips because that's where we store a lot of our trauma. That is
Mm.
scientific fact. This is not no woo woo shit. A lot of your trauma. So if you had a baby, if you were in a car accident, if you were sexually assaulted, all of these things are held in your hips. So that's why your hips are always super tight. And if you simply
Mm.
have a desk job, I don't have no underwear. Well, no, I have underwear on, but I don't have no pants on. But I would stand up and show y'all when you guys are sitting down, right? You're at a desk job, you're like this. Or when you're standing up, you're walking, your legs are doing this. And now all of a sudden, When it comes to nighttime, you want your legs
It's
to do
time
this.
to spread. Yeah.
Mechanically, that doesn't make sense. So it's so important to stretch and make sure you release all that tension, because then when you pull in Charlie horses in the bedroom and now you upset and embarrassed, it's just like, well, sis, you didn't set yourself up for success right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on prepping your body.
Yeah, and again, I think that's not something that I don't think we make those connections, right? That
Mhm.
we're doing this to show up um more available and open, literally,
Mhm.
in that space, right? I can say, I will say, before starting to follow your page, I did not think about that. Like, I was just like,
Mhm.
you show up and
Yeah, we
you show
here.
up, right? Tomorrow we might be stretching a little something extra because you
Mhm.
pulled a little something, but we show up. I honestly did not even think like, hey, there are certain poses that that we can practice
Yeah.
that will actually help. Yeah, like it's the connection isn't always there. It isn't always there. So I appreciate that you you center on that and that you're
Mhm.
always talking about that, because that's something that doesn't depend on anybody else. That's something we can do for ourselves, to show
Yeah.
up in that way and to honor our bodies in that
Mhm.
way, so that when we do decide to engage with someone else,
Yeah.
that we are in the best state of mind and the best physical place that we can be
Mhm.
in order to enjoy this experience.
No, seriously, because the thing is, like, we have to be able, like, people talk about like their image in the bedroom, and it's just like, is it really your image, or is it your image and how you're unable to do certain things?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I would say it's probably a lot of the latter. It's probably
Yeah.
a lot of the latter, that our limitations
Hmm.
is what makes us feel less confident. But there are
Yeah.
ways that we can
Yeah.
help ourselves with that. Okay,
Exactly.
I have some quick rapid fire questions for you. And you can give as much or as little detail as you want. Okay. So some are like this or that, and others are like actual questions. Okay, okay.
Okay.
You ready? Okay, okay. Early bird or night owl?
Ooh, both of them.
Both of them?
I could wake up early, but I work till the night. Early bird. I prefer to wake up early.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. I think I know the answer to this. To nap or not to nap?
Not to nap.
Really?
Hmm.
I'm shocked.
I don't like to nap only because when you get your body used to something, I like to complete my day and then rest. I don't like to break up the day because I don't like to restart work, but nap only because of this transition right now and I need it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not to nap.
Okay. All right. All right. High heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Really?
I could be fine in whatever I wear. Shit, I love me
I
some.
know
Be
that's
sexy and comfortable.
right.
Shit. I don't care what they tell you. You don't have to wear high heels to be sexy. Go ahead.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Top or bottom?
Top.
Why?
Because I like to be in control.
It's a powerful position. Yeah.
Yes.
Some of us are afraid though. Some of us are afraid. And yeah, it's some power there. All right. Trying to set the mood. Okay. Which music artist are you feeling right now that you would throw on?
Damn. Ooh. Jasmine Sullivan.
Ooh, that's a good one. Hotels or just
Best
Jasmine
pussy in
in
the world.
general?
Best pussy in the world. I mean
I love
BPW.
that song. I like that song. I
Yeah.
like that song a lot. That's a good one. That's a good choice. Okay, okay. How do you know that you are going in the right direction?
My spirit feels comfortable.
Hmm. What does comfortable feel like for you?
Um, Flow. So when something is not meant to be, if I feel like I have to force it or I feel like, I'm not really settled on it, I typically won't do it. But when I just allow things to just be and I'm not forcing it, I know I'm going in the right direction. And I
Mm,
allow God and just the universe to just send me those signs and just take heed to those.
I love that. I love that. Okay, two more. I get most excited when.
Women send me messages about like, my page helping them or things like that. That makes my day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you might get a lot of those tonight. All right, finish this statement. Coco is.
The shit. Sorry.
Ah! I felt that in my spirit, girl. I felt that in my I felt that in my spirit. Coco, what do you have going on right now? We got people, they like, I need to go follow Coco. Like, oh my God.
Oh
What
my
do you have going on right now? Tell the people where they can find you. What do you have? Like, talk to the people about the things, girl, so they can know.
Okay, so for the sake of this conversation, I did put my courses on sale for the weekend only, but I kept it open for the sake of this conversation. So what it is, it's the writing course and how to suck dick course. So it's step by she grabbed it first. So it's step by step like instructions. Like there's, for example, in the writing, how to ride with positions that are safe for your knees. And I do have my ex in the video. So we're demonstrating these positions. You could go back, replay them. They're broken up into segments. And the replay of the previous classes included in both of those as well. So those two are on sale. And I'm officially announcing this here. I am going to be coming out with an app as well. So you guys are going to be able to view the tips, the tricks, the blog, everything. So it's just going to be like a sex coach in your pocket. So that's coming out, and I'm super excited about it because y'all, I be censored like a mother out here. Okay, so Margie
Yeah,
says the writing course is the truth. Oh
that's
yeah,
what she said. She co-signed it. Okay, so listen, y'all, I just dropped the link into the comments. Okay, so you want to go ahead and click on that. All right, discount code is going to be active for how long, or the discount is going to be active for how long?
to till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. All right, so
Mhm.
don't be out here lollygagging and whatnot. All right, go on and make sure y'all click on that link and such
No,
so that you
it's
can
been an
get.
hour already.
Yeah, girl, I told you this hour was gonna go by so fast. I was like, listen, it's gonna fly like lightning. I just want you to know. Yes, honey. We almost done. I know. But what else you got on your spirit that you want to share? Because I feel like there's something that's sitting there that you like. If y'all don't leave with nothing else, y'all
Yes,
better catch this. What's
yes.
that?
So if you don't leave with nothing else, understand this. It is so important to let's take the sex part out. It is so important to understand who you are as a person, because that is going to be your foundation for how you are as a mother, as a partner, as a wife, as a sexual being. Sex is just something that is affected, and thank God is part of it. But the source isn't about what you can do, the dick that you can suck, or how you can please your partner. It's really about how do you view yourself and show up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's a quick last question that Tanera had. How can we connect back to our bodies? What does that look like?
So it looks very different for everybody. I personally start with the things that I don't like, only because if we focus on what we do like, it's just kind of like, okay, you know that though. So what I focus on is the parts that I don't like. I'll walk around naked in my house, being comfortable because there's those little things that we do, like how we cover up or how we're walking, where it's
Mhm.
just like if we're up here all the time and just sometimes I'll literally just sit here and I'll just do this to make sure that I'm always relaxing
Mm.
my body and just being super conscious of like, what does my posture look like? Why do I feel this way? Or just being always just like speaking to yourself when it comes to your body. So mirror work, really just loving those parts again, even if they're uncomfortable for you, and be super, super aware of your body. And the thing is, sometimes I'll notice when I actually relax, my body starts to hurt because I
Mm.
hold so much
And
tension
holding
when I
it so
walk
tense. Yeah.
or when I'm doing things that when I finally relax, I'm like, oh shit, hold on. So
Right.
be very aware of how you're showing up physically.
Mm. I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So listen, y'all. I need y'all to go follow Coco. Okay. If you have not been to her page, I'm gonna tell you now, it's lit. Okay. Litty. You want to get over there. Don't you also, Coco, have a like a VIP group?
So all of that's going to be in the app. That's why
Oh,
I don't even want people to go join it right now so they don't have to switch over.
okay.
So all of that, the membership, everything's going to be in the app, the classes, the lessons, all of it.
Awesome. So y'all need to go make sure y'all following her. Okay. So when the app is ready, you the first to know. Okay. Cause sis got an app, y'all. Sis is out here with an app. All right. So y'all got to make sure y'all get connected. All right. So on Instagram, at the Conversational Freak is where you can find Coco. And I would not lie to y'all that the value add and the level of education is just so on point about a conversation that we seldom have. And it just really, for me, it has been a space of affirmation. It's been a space of reminders to consider self. It's been a space of, girl, you're not in this by yourself, girl. You need some pointers. No worries. No worries. We
And
got
there's some
you,
funnies.
right?
There's some funnies because I feel like we be taking sex too serious. So I'll be doing some funnies on there too, just so people are like, yes, bitch, me too.
All of that, like all of that. It is really, really, really an amazing place, y'all. So I want to make sure that you check that out. All right. Now, I also want to do a programming note because we had a lot of first timers that are here. So I want to take a quick second and do a little commercial break so y'all know what else we have coming up in the very near future. So one of the our very next Brown Girl Boss. So I'm here every other Wednesday with Brown Girl Boss. And our next guest is going to be Alicia Beeman. She is an empowerment coach with Empowered Being, and she's going to talk to us about tapping into your inner badass. Okay, wherever that's at, pulling that out. All right. So that is going to be on our next show, February 22nd. And then the show after that on Wednesday, March 8th, we're going to be with Anne Marie, the anti-HR lady. If you have had any type of toxic work environment situation, you in one, you think you might be one, you just got out of one, your cousin in one, honey, you need to be on this show, okay? Because Anne Marie is going to be giving us the tips and really letting us know how we can show up for ourselves in these spaces that often are trying to hold us down. Okay. So that is a programming note. Also want to make sure that you get connected to Beautiful Brown Girls by going to our Facebook page at Beautiful Brown Girls, that you follow us on Instagram at Beautifully Shaded and on Twitter at Beautiful Brown You. Also that you are connected to our VIP space where you have the ability to connect with Beautiful Brown Girls on a deeper level. There you will be able to access our classes and all that. I'm gonna try to get Coco to get some classes on there too, y'all. I'm trying to look. I'm gonna try to get Coco to get some classes on there too. But this is a place where you really get to be free from the algorithm. All the things, as Coco mentioned, there's a lot of censorship and foolishness going on right here. They're trying to stop us from getting these messages out. Okay, so if you are like, yes, I need a deeper connection, go to our VIP members network space, and you can access that by going to tinyurl.com/brown girl boss. That will take you right to that space, and then you'll be able to get connected to Beautiful Brown Girls. Coco, I'm gonna give you the last word, love. Anything else that you want to say to the people?
Just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And for those who shared, personal, intimate things about themselves, thank you for trusting us and feeling safe enough to share that here. And just know, unfortunately, this does happen more oftentimes than not. But thankfully, we're creating these spaces in order to move past those. So it's not to erase what happened, but it's to really just understand first and then be able to accept to move on. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. And thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you
And
for
thank you for
inviting me.
bringing your full self to this conversation. I really, really look forward to this relationship because I told you we cousins now. Okay.
I'm
So
going to visit her in Columbia, y'all. Y'all didn't hear that part.
listen, but listen, okay, we about to be frolicking through the streets, girl, and just enjoying the things. All right.
Yeah.
So I am just so excited that we got an opportunity to have you on. Y'all, I need y'all to run over to Coco Space, okay? Like as soon as you click over here, I need that to be the next click, okay? I need the next click to be over there at the Conversational Freak. Make sure you get connected. I'm telling you, you will not regret it at all. Coco, thank you from
Thank
the very
you.
bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
We will see y'all not next week after next, 2 weeks from now, on our next episode of Brown Girl Boss. The conversation doesn't stop here, y'all. The comments remain open, so you are more than willing to continue having conversation. Make sure you tag some people that need to hear this. Share the broadcast, y'all, on your page, because there are some folks that really need to have this conversation. And if this is what gets them started and gets them going on that conversation, then that's what we want to make sure that we are doing, right? So make sure that you're tagging your people, that you're letting them know about what you experienced tonight. Just send them Coco's Instagram. Just send them her Instagram. Send them this, honey. Just tell them, set themselves up for success. Okay.
Yes.
So the community is so thankful. Hopefully your DMs are popping after this with women telling you how much they appreciated you showing up in this space. That is always my goal. So you'll have to keep me posted on that, and make sure you keep us posted on everything else that you have going on. Let us know when the app drops. Let us know what's, girl. Tell us the things, girl. Just keep us posted on
Yes.
so that we can make
And
sure.
I'll be back for a class with y'all. So
Y'all heard it here first. All right, y'all. We gonna go. We gonna go because we could be here all night, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that, y'all. We gonna go. Love y'all so much. Thank you for hanging out with us, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.
bye.